Well, hello, my friends. It's good to be here. I hope you all are having a good day. So, I am having a little bit of a late start getting in here with you guys, but having fun. I am going to look up a Bible verse for us to discuss today. And just kind of have fun with. So, oh, three people are here. Well, come and say hi so that we can chat. Um, I've been doing a lot of talking lately in my videos about stress and um, Acts 28, the end of the book of Acts. Hey, Heidi and Jennifer. Hello, how are you? So, Jennifer, I'm glad you spoke up and said hello this morning. Hey, Becky, good morning. Um, so yeah, we will talk about what you guys want to talk about, but I wanted to tell you about an interesting thing that I saw on Facebook and I responded to. And, I try not to be all that controversial. Now, I know that there are times when I bring up Islam and that kind of thing that it's going to bring controversy just by nature. I know that. But yeah, there was a video. Most of the time, I'm really trying very hard not to be um, controversial. So this post came up on my Facebook. Oops. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Can a woman pastor a church? Now, that infers that it's the lead position at the church. And I think there's a lot of things that women are good at and can do. Good morning, Becky. But being the lead pastor of a church, I think men are called to it. I have a very specific reason for that. And just between us friends, I'll tell you. But this is what I put on that post. Are you ready? And it has gotten so much silly controversy. Silly controversy. Basically, let's see, I need to find men and women are equal. Men and women are both equal heirs to the kingdom, but we both have different roles and different strengths. So, no, a woman should not be the lead pastor of a church. That's what I put. I thought, those people who are hardcore about women shouldn't pastor the church. I thought I covered that base. People who are like, yes, women are amazing. I'm one of those. Covered that base. I thought I covered all the bases, but who would have known? All these people are bringing up crazy, weird verses about, okay, here's one. 1 Corinthians 11:3. And but I would have you know, this is 1 Corinthians 11:3 that this person brought up. I finally had to say, look, we're going beyond the original post, and I think you're looking for an argument, so I'm leaving. I'm not going to be involved in an argument. That's what I finally had to say to this guy. And but anyway, he put 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. So modern evangelicals have made that to be head, like in charge of, like authority. But it also can mean provide for, um, protect. Look at it with that perspective. Anyway, I answered this guy with that, and I said, yes, that passage shows the heart posture that men are supposed to have for their wives. That word head is a life source. It means to take care of, provide for, and protect. That's what I put. Anyway, that started up a firestorm of people going, well, mostly him wanting an argument. No, it means authority. I'm like, okay, go to the original language. So look at that verse with that in mind, that it's a heart posture. That means life source. It means to take care of, provide for, protect. Okay, look at that. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. So Christ protects, takes care of, provides, right? And the head of every woman, the man. And the head of Christ is God. And so, yeah. Anyway, that's what it says, the man, not all men are all absolutely, Heidi. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man, the husband. And I have no problem with the idea of submission. It's something that we are all supposed to do. I think we have to be careful when anybody, and I will stand on this podium as long as it takes, but we have to be careful when anybody tries to demean a woman and make the woman feel like she's less than, because the Bible says absolutely opposite of that. So anyway, I'm not sure if anybody's interested in that subject. So what would you all like to talk about? What are your all's thoughts today? What did you all do this weekend? I was out of town helping my husband with a business thing in Annapolis, Maryland, a very, very long way from home. And got home and just trying to get life kind of back in order. My son is a elementary school PE teacher, and I spent 20 years working with the little tiny people, little tiny people, pre-K, and he is doing pre-K PE today. And so this morning, his first one was at 8:45, and I said, Colin, I'll be there with you. For your first one, if you'd like. Yeah, they are super sweet. And so he got this game together. And so I go live 9:30 my time, right? So 8:45, I went 8:45 to 9:05. I watched his first little class. He has 8 of them today, but I watched his first little class. And then I ran to the grocery store to get dinner. And then I threw everything in a crock pot because we're also working on here and working on his house. So I have learned an important lesson that if I try to make dinner after all that work, I won't, and we'll order out and it's expensive. So I went and got dinner for tonight and tomorrow that I can put in a crock pot and eat when we're ready. I think I'm being smart. We'll see. And then, yeah. And then I came here a little bit late. Women should not be head pastors. They can be support pastors. Yes, they can be support pastors. They can be deacons. Here's the other thought. Yeah, it is good practice for them, isn't it? Oh, by the way, since there's only 3 of us on here, his little wife, is at home, where her home of origin, and way away. And while she was there, since she's a citizen there, she gets free healthcare there. So they did all sorts of the big deal, important sonogram and everything. And she said, she sent us a picture, and she has a the little guy has a Trussell nose, Fowler nose. her nose is cute and pointy, and his is not. And so the little guy looks a lot like his daddy. It was really, really sweet. So, um, so here's my little thought on a practical, logical way and reason for us women to really be okay with a man being the lead pastor. Women have a way of going, okay, I'm going to help you with your PE class, and then I'm going to go to the grocery store. Then I'm going to come over here and put everything in a crock pot. Then I'm going to go live, and then I'm going to clean the house. And then I'm going to go to your house, and I'm going to help you unpack some. And then it'll be lunchtime, right? Women have a way. Becky, she gets back on September 16th. So she'll be back pretty soon. But anyway, women have a way of going, we're going to do this. Men put a little bit more time in every and thought and heart and mind and into every endeavor that they do. Not across the board, but as a general rule. And so if women were executive leaders of the church, I think men would hold back. We see it in the book of Genesis. We see it with Adam and Eve. I think men would hold back and go, yeah, go for it. And women would go, okay, we're going to do this. And men would let us. I am going to, what is the book, the verse in Genesis 2? I will make you want to control your husband, but your husband will be in charge of you. It's that kind of thing. So that's one of the reasons, practically, logically, that women, we don't have to be in charge of the leading of the church. We get to sit back and just listen and learn. And so that's one of the, hey, Eva, that's one of the ways that I have, because I'm a go-getter. And I love, Heidi and I call each other Bible nerds. I think Blue Whispers Becky and Becky Parker is in that group as well. Okay. Bible Nerd 2.0. Okay, so I'm helping my husband get this thing started, and then he leads his group in Annapolis during the day. We go twice a year to different locations. And then I had the rest of the day. And I was like, okay, what do I do? I did Bible study and I did this and that, but there were times during the day that I had done the Bible study, I had done all the things, and I was trying to be involved in other things, but nothing was exciting. And I was like, I just want to go back in Bible study. And I was like, I think I've gotten a little bit to the point that if it furthers the kingdom, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm not really interested. Now, that's not a great attitude to have. I need to do other things, but I can do all for the glory of Christ, right? So even if I make dinner or clean the house, it's for the glory of God. But anyway, yeah, that was something that hit me this weekend. And so anyway, back to the women and ministry thing. I love the Bible. I love getting into it. I love looking at the definition of the word head in 1 Corinthians 11:3. Again, I'm going to read it. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. What is the definition of the word head? It means a life source. It means to provide for, to care for, to protect. And in our modern Christianity, we've gotten to where we believe it means authority. Now, can it mean authority? Sure, it can mean authority. But I think in this context, it means authority. And I think men need to come with the heart posture of I need to protect and care for and provide for my wife. And when they do that, when they do their job well, then it makes it easy for us to do our job as women, right? When we do it well, it makes it easy for the men. So anyway, that is my full thought on women in ministry. The bottom line is that we are all called to submit to each other out of reverence for Christ. We are all equal heirs to the kingdom of God. They need to lead like Christ. Amen. One of the things that I like to tell people, I'll pull it up on my Bible on my phone because I'm on the computer. Ephesians 5. This is what I like to get at when it gets into the Ephesians 5:22. So in Ephesians 5:22, it says, "Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and himself, its Savior." Okay. So here's what I ask my pre-married couples. Joe, Jane, who is Paul addressing here? It's the first word of Ephesians 5:22. Go for it, guys. Who is Paul addressing here? The first word in Ephesians 5:22. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Wives. Becky's right. Wives, submit to your own husband. Yep, there you go, Heidi. As to the Lord. He was not talking to couples. Hey, wives, you should do this. Men, you should do that. Keep each other accountable, okay? To your own husband. Amen, Heidi. Wives, submit to your own husbands. And then down there. So what I usually do is I usually get a little bit spicy, we'll say, at that point. And I say, Joe, that means that if your wife is not submitting, that is not your business. That's between her and the Lord. You can help her through Bible study. You can provide for her. You can do your job to the best of your ability. But that's between her and the Lord. Now, equally, if you go down to verse 25, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Who is that directed to? LOL, spicy. Yeah. Obviously, it's directed to the husbands. Jan, if your husband is not leading well, that's between your husband and the Lord. It's not between you and your husband. So husbands should not be going to wives and say, you need to submit better. And wives should not be going to their husbands and say, you need to lead better. Do your individual job well, and it'll make it easy for the other person. For example, if a husband is not leading well, the wife can look for things where he does lead and praise those, right? When a wife submits well, the husband can go over and rub her feet and give her back massage and love her well. So that's how I teach that. But I really teach that 90% of the decisions of a married couple should be handled in Ephesians 5:21, submitting to one another out of reverence for Christ. That's where decisions are made. And then at the end of the line, if you're just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and no decisions are working really, then women, we should let the husband have his way. And if the husband is doing his job well, he needs to give himself up to his wife. Doesn't that sound kind of familiar? We kind of have the same job, different sides of the same coin. So if I want a pink couch, and my husband wants a brown couch, then first of all, we need to be thankful that we have the money to buy the couch. Then we need to discuss back and forth, why the pink couch? Why the brown couch? Why is it a good idea to get either one? And then at the end of the day, if we cannot decide, I need to be willing to say, you know what? Let's do the brown couch. I can see the benefit in that. Let's go. And then he needs to be willing to go, you know what? I can see the fun in a pink couch. Let's do the pink couch. That's how a marriage works. We've had a pink couch. I love it. And see, your husband did a beautiful thing. I don't know, maybe your husband picked it out. So anyway, that's the example I always use. So what is up with you? I thought ahead of time. I've been so involved in this silly discussion on women in leadership in the church. It's like, yes, women can teach. Priscilla taught Apollos. And then also Mary Magdalene was charged with teaching the apostles that Jesus had risen. The most important thing in human history. And Mary Magdalene was trusted with that information to go teach the disciples. So yes, women can teach. Yes, women can speak in the church. The whole 2 Timothy thing is not getting at women shouldn't speak in the church. That would be silly. That would mean if you really want to hold that line, that means when you get onto church property, a woman's lips should be zipped. That means no teaching, no Sunday school, no participation, no worship band, nothing. If we hold the line to 2 Timothy 2:12, then no talking. And so since that seems a little absurd, we need to look at the context, what was happening, what Paul was talking about, why he was talking about it. And for the first time, you had women involved in the church, and women didn't know what they were talking about. So Paul is the one who entrusted Apollos with Priscilla. So obviously, he didn't mean for women to not teach at all. He meant be educated, then teach. People like that take the verse without the context. Exactly. It changes what the intent really means. Well, it just doesn't make sense. And I've pointed that out to some men, that you do realize if you hold that line, if you want to believe that literally without any context, you've got to understand what that actually entails. And yeah. So anywho, gosh, we've done a good job talking about women in the ministry. To this point, one of the shows that my son and I love was how my husband got into town and changed bags and left out of town again. And so he's gone. So my son and I worked at his house a little bit, and then we collapsed here last night. And one of the things we like is it's the one with it's a trivia game, and the woman in the middle, and she asks questions and you build chains. Can't think of the name of the show. Anyway, one of the contestants, there's like 7 or 8 contestants. One of the 8 contestants was a female, a woman who said she's a pastor. And the woman in charge of the show said, "Oh, why did you become a pastor?" She handed her a softball because I really felt like nothing else worked. I was called by God to be in this ministry. I want to teach people about the love of Jesus Christ. You would think that would have been something of her answer, right? You want to know what her answer was? My son and I just looked at each other and went, "Well, I've tried a lot of silly jobs and nothing else was good, so I decided to try pastoring." That was her job. That was her response. And then at the end, so you're at the end of this game, if you're voted off. So if you're voted off, you have to leave. And they record the contestants saying something as they leave. The little pastor lady, as she left, said, I know that as Christians we're supposed to forgive, but I'm not forgiving this one. That's our example of women being in leadership of a church. Okay. So, yeah, wolves in sheep clothing. That's so true. What is that game called? It's a fun game. Jane Lynch is the person in charge of it. Jane Lynch. Here we go. Come on. Shows. She also does Hollywood Game Night, but that's not it. Come on. I'm looking because now I'm curious. Game show. The game show itself is really cute. Weakest link. Weakest link. That's it. So anyway, can we talk about movies real quick? I know there's only 5 of us. What do you guys think of Nicolas Cage starring in a show, a horror movie about Jesus? Have you heard about this? Nicolas Cage plays the father of Jesus in a new horror film. Here, I'm reading this. It says, Nicolas Cage stars as Joseph in an upcoming horror film inspired by the infancy gospel. Infancy gospel. Like there's something called infancy gospel. No. Okay. Infancy Gospel of Thomas, a non-canonical text. The movie reimagines Jesus' childhood with supernatural and unsettling elements. The film, called The Carpenter's Son, is based on the apocryphal infancy Gospel of Thomas and highlights the apocryphal account of Jesus' childhood. Church leaders reported the stories surrounding Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas, however, have long been considered bizarre and heretical due to the content behind them, such as Jesus breathing life into clay birds and causing harm to them. Crazy, this world. Eva, say what? This world is something else. Absolutely. And Heidi says, sadly, not surprised the world is doing that. Have you all, we have always been like a couple movies a month kind of person. First of all, the movies that are out, every once in a while there's a Christian movie, but you can't even trust those, because that's what I'm afraid of with this. I may even do a video on it later. That's what I'm afraid of. People are going to say, oh, The Carpenter's Son, the Gospel of Thomas. Awesome. Let's go. And then they're going to get the garbage that is this show, right? So you can't even trust the Christian shows, but you go to the movies and it's either Top Gun 386 or it's a demonic show. There's a new, the final something, one of those. Oh, anyway, it's either demonic show or Christian show. And like I said, you can't trust the Christian shows, Birthing pains are getting stronger for sure. Absolutely. I have no desire to see that. No. And I think we just need to push those videos along that are talking about it. Not even all Christian songs line up with the word. Absolutely, Heidi. And that is something we have to keep in mind and keep our eyes aware of. You know, I did a video last week about the woman that I've heard two different accounts. I've heard that she is Muslim and it's Change in Your Name. Change in Your Name by Niori. Hit 4 on the gospel charts, and she's Muslim. Now, I have heard that she has come to Christ. I don't know. But I am going to do a video on this. Now, let's do something fun. Let's look at the current movies that are out, shall we? And see if what I'm saying is true. It's either a movie like Top Gun or Mission Impossible 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Or it's a Christian show that you can't always trust, or it's a demonic show. Shall we see if I'm right? Let's see. And then, you know what? There are always a little bit of children's shows that are out there. Okay, I have Fandango on my phone, so we're going to look at Fandango and see what movies are out right now. See if I have to eat my words. We need to be awake. The devil is deceiving people. Absolutely. We need to be awake to what's out there. And I think one thing, I used to be a worship leader at a church, and you wouldn't know from my dun, dun, dun. I don't try to have my serious voice. There's your kid voice and your serious voice. That's my kid voice. Anyway, I was a worship leader at a church, and worship songs don't have to do with me. That's one of the things you can really keep an ear out for songs that are talking about feelings, about me, not a worship song. A worship song is either about God, I worship you, or let's as a group worship God. That's a worship song. And Fandango is not pulling up, so hang tight. We'll see what Fandango does. And there's a lot of songs on the Christian charts that are about me. Because we don't need to worship me, right? Why are the shows not coming up? Okay. Aha, here we go. Okay, movies in theaters. Refresh. Okay, here we go. The Long Walk, which is, okay, so down the middle is a children's show or a Mission Impossible Part 7. Okay, that's middle of the road. Over here is Christian. Over here is horror and that kind of thing. Long Walk goes over here. Demon Slayer. I don't know. Where do y'all think Demon Slayer goes? Demon Slayer, something. I think maybe that goes over here. Downton Abbey. Right here. It goes in the good. It's funny, I'm opposite. So it's not a Christian show, but it's good it's fine for us Christians. I heard some say that we passed the woman's water has breaking due to all the sudden flooding in the world. Oh. Huh. Okay, let's keep going. Spinal Tap. Oh, Spinal Tap, it sounds awful, but it's a continuation of a continuation of a continuation. So it's right here. Clement, it's down the middle of the road. It's about baseball. Code 3, don't know what that's about. Dreams, I think dreams go over here. Demon. Love in Vietnam, I don't know. Oh, here, this one's easy to tell. You all want to see the picture? Oops. Hold on, get my hand steady. That one. You think, I can't even pronounce the word. Traumatica, definitely over there. The Conjuring, definitely over there. Toy Story 30th anniversary, definitely goes right here. Caught Stealing. The Roses, down the middle. The Fantastic Four, down the middle. Light of the World, over here, but we have to be careful and pay attention. Bad Guys is a kid movie. Jaws 50th anniversary. Anyway, there's a few more, but it's all repeats, or like The Conjuring, a few over here that, there's just no movies out. I guess that's the point. I heard, okay. Yeah, Becky, I want to look at that a little bit more. Some say that we passed the woman's water. I'm kind of interested. That would be interesting. Well, my friends, it's been fun hanging out with you. Sometimes on YouTube we get lots of people, and sometimes it just trickles. So today it was a trickle, but I got to hang out a little bit with some of my favorite people. So, Becky, Jennifer, if you're still here, Jennifer, Becky, Eva, Heidi, that was fun. So, not a lot of shows that are good. Yeah, I really want to go see Downton Abbey. That's a definite. I think that's it out of all that list. And like I said, I love movies. Love. Yes, but I do want to see Roses. I have a really weird sense of humor. I liked The War of the Roses, a dark comedy, but that's just me. Splitsville doesn't sound good. Jaws 50th anniversary. Anybody here going and seeing Jaws? Superman. I'm done with Superman. Sound of Music would probably be fun to see on a big screen, but seen that a million times. I've heard that there's some new age stuff with Freakier Friday, so I haven't seen that. Jurassic Park Rebirth. That's straight down the Jurassic Park Part 8. Nobody 2. Anyway, not a lot of these shows I'm interested in. Oh, The Threesome. Yeah, wonder what that's about. So here's the movies coming. The ones coming are Tron. I'm just not interested in that. That was a show that it was a game. It was a video game when we were young. Him, nah. The Smashing Machine, nah. Howl's Moving Castle, don't know anything about it. The Battle After Another, probably not. Spirited Away, no. The Strangers, Chapter 2, which is a horror flick, no. Spider-Man 2.1, no. Back to the Future, Rocky, The Girl Who Leapt Through. All of these, Twilight, Casper, these are all shows that have already happened, that they're just bringing back to the theater. Anyway, there's just nothing on movies. That's the weird thing. So, my friends, I should be able to be live on TikTok on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'll probably do a video today about the Nicolas Cage thing, so that should be interesting. And anyway, my friends, it was fun talking to you about women's role and how that works. And I might even put a video up on that. But I'm going to try to go down the middle. We'll see. So, my friends, I love you. God's got this. Have a wonderful day. Mwah.